Hey guys, welcome to another episode on the Flames of War game. This episode here is going to feature just talking about the source book. So here's what a typical source book will look like. It's a lot thinner than the rule book, but it's got a lot of good information in it. Again, I mentioned in the previous video that these tend to focus on either a front or a battle as well as specific dates. So this one here is going to be Operation Cobra. This is the Normandy breakout, and it features a timeline from July to August 1944. So all the units that basically took part in Operation Cobra. So just opening up the source book, and this is pretty much reminiscent of what you're going to find in most source books. So you won't find a piece of paper like that. But what you have is you have a little schematic map of the actual area that you're talking about. So, and then as well as some units and what fronts they fought and who they fought against. So, if you're really into the historic aspect, you can use this to sort of set up little mock battles to sort of reenact the battles that were there. Of course, you have a table of contents. This one here breaks down all the units that are in here. So this is some of my favorites in here. So the 12th SS, which I play almost exclusively. It also has the 2nd SS, as well as several different German lists. So just counting quickly, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different German forces. Now that's 5 forces with numerous configurations. As well in this book here is also the U.S. So this book has German and U.S. There's no Russians, there's no British. So for instance, if you were looking to play German or U.S. during this operation, this would be the source book that you wanted to get. If you were playing a Russian list, you would not buy this book. So Battlefront is not making you buy every book, they're just making you looking for you to buy the books that go with the front or the units that you're looking to play. So just flipping through the book, it usually starts off with a general, it gives you a lot of nice layout pictures in the source books, as well as just a little bit of information about the breakout itself. And you can see the artwork in these books is fabulous. I'm just turning through. My book's getting a little worn out, so some of my pages are actually starting to come out. So that's not typical of their stuff. A few books that happens, but that's just because I've used this book like hundreds of times. I've read it cover to cover at least 10 or 15 times now, as well as flipping through it to check a lot of stats and stuff. So it has a special rules section here. So each of the units typically come with one additional special rule, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. And that's in addition to the German special rules that we talked about that were in the rule book before. So I want to get down to some actual force charts. I'm going to do a video showing you how not only what a layout looks like in the book, but also if I were to start picking those units and laying them out on the table, what the force would actually look like. So I'm just going to tip this up, get it out of the glare here. Okay, so this is what you're going to see. Actually, you're going to see this first. So say for instance I wanted to play the going to the top here, it's kind of difficult, 12th, which is here, the 12th SS, and I wanted to play an SS Panzer Grenadier Company. Now what you do is you consult your charts, and they've laid this out pretty simplistic. It looks complicated, it's very easy to pick out what goes with what. It tells you your HQ right here. It tells you need an HQ, and along here in the dark, it's maybe difficult to see on the camera, but these 2 boxes right here are darkened in, and these ones are slightly lighter, as well as all of the rest. So for this unit, or this army, the minimum you require is an HQ and 1, 2 platoons. All the rest, you can add additional platoons, you can add additional weapons platoons, additional support, and additional regimental support. Now all these units that are here, they all have the very specific. So for instance, this right here is a divisional support. It's an armor divisional support, and it says right here, heavy SS tank platoon on page 30. So you'd go to page 30 and look at that unit and find the points value. But before we get into that, let's have a look at the actual organization. What it tells you up here is tells you the motivation and the skill. This particular unit happens to be Fearless Veteran. So that is the rating, and you can play them as the 2nd or as the 12th. Now looking here, it actually gives you the point value. This one happens to be a 50-point HQ, and for that you get 2 command stands, which we talked about, a field car, and a motorcycle and sidecar. These lightly gray or lightly shaded out areas, these are additional things you can purchase, which give you the point values here. Moving down to the combat platoons, and I apologize if it's, here we go, this will be a lot easier. Okay, HQ. Now moving down to the combat platoons, which are here. You can take squads of 2 or squads of 3. Now squad of 2 would be 1, 2. Squad of 3 would be 1, 2, and 3, along with the HQ. There's a few upgrades and options, and it gives you the points value there, and it gives you the points here. So it's very easy, it's very laid out. You don't have to go anywhere but this page. And again, reminding yourself that you actually required 2 of those. So you would choose 2 of this, either 3 or 2 squads. It always gives you the minimum. So the minimum on here is the minimum you can take. You can't take a single squad. It doesn't give you the option for that. Now if I just flip to the next page, some other things that are on here. So say for instance you wanted to add in, right here, a light SS anti-tank platoon. Now going back to the first chart, I'm going to just show you where you would find that. On your weapons platoons, you'd scroll down and you see here an SS anti-tank gun platoon on page 23. And if you look on page 23, which we were just looking a moment ago, 23, here you go. Here's your SS anti-tank light gun, or your SS anti-tank gun platoon. And here they are. Happens to give you an option here, 3 anti-tank gun sections, 2 and 1. So here's a case where you can take 1, 2, or 3, and corresponding point values. If there's anything special about that unit, it will also give it to you in the shaded in box, just like in the rulebook. This one here happens to say that the gun platoons may be taken as combat attachments, and I'll talk more about that. So here's a case where you are able to take one support option. Now, if you look on this page, if I set it down again, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different units on here. This one happens to be taken as a core choice or as another combat platoon, and then here it starts setting up your weapons platoons. So there's 1, 2, 3 weapons platoons. Just flipping through. That is the end of that force in terms of what it gives specifically to that. Now, there's a lot more options on here. You can pick and choose anything that's on these tables with the corresponding pages to go in this unit.